Today's topic is why you pick certain partners. You did not choose your type, your nervous system did. Before you were old enough to remember it, by the time you were 2 year old, your brain had already built a template for what love feels like. Not what love should feel like, what it actually feels like based on how your caregiver responded to you. And you have been unconsciously auditioning partners against that template ever since. This is attachment theory, and by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why you keep ending up in the same relationship dynamic even with completely different people. In 1950s, psychiatrist John Bowlby noticed something that seems obvious now but was radical then. Infants are not just bonding with caregivers for food, they are building a survival strategy. If a caregiver was reliable, responsive, the infant learned the world was safe to explore. If the caregiver was inconsistent or frightening or simply absent, the infant adapted not consciously, psychologically. Psychologist Mary Ann Swartz later tested this directly with something called the strange situation, briefly separating toddlers from their mothers and watching how they reacted on reunion. What she found sorted almost every child into one of a few distinct patterns. Those same patterns, it turned out, follow up into adult romantic relationships almost unchanged. There are four attachment styles built from two underlying dimensions: how anxious you are about abandonment and how avoidant you are of closeness. Secure attachment, low anxiety, low avoidance. Roughly half the population, these people can dependent on others and be dependent on without much drama. Not because they are calmer people by nature, because their early template taught them closeness is safe. Anxious attachment, high anxiety, low avoidance. This person craves closeness but constantly fear losing it. They are the ones rereading a text for hidden meaning, needing reassurance, feeling a partner pull away before there is any real evidence of it. Their nervous system learned early on that love is inconsistent, so it stays on high alert, watching for the moment it disappears. Avoidant attachment, low anxiety, high avoidance. This person values independence to the point of discomfort with real intimacy. They deactivate pulling away right when things get close, not because they don't care, but because closeness was never modeled as safe. Their templates say rely on yourself because others won't come through. Fearful avoidant, also called disorganized, high anxiety and high avoidance. This is the one of almost nobody explain well. These people want closeness and fear it at the same time, often because their caregiver was simultaneously their source of comfort and their source of fear. So intimacy itself gets tangled up with danger. This is the style most linked in research to unstable relationship pattern, including in large studies the strongest statistical link to infidelity ahead of anxious attachment. Here, what most content on this topic get it wrong. You have probably heard anxious avoidant people are magnetically drawn to each other. Opposites attract, wants recognize wants. The actual research says the opposite in control experiment. Anxious people showed no special attraction to avoidance partner. If anything, they were particularly averse to them when simply rating potential partners on paper. In real speed dating studies, anxious people, especially anxious men, actually match with fewer partners, not more. So the pairing is not chemistry at first sight. It's something that forms slowly inside a relationship. Once both patrons start reacting to each other, which brings us to the actual mechanism. Researchers call it an anxious avoidant trap. The anxious partner seeks closeness that push the avoidant partner to create distance. The distance spikes in the anxious partner fears, so they escalate their beats for closeness. That escalation push the avoidant partner further away. It's a loop and it's self-reinforcing, which is exactly why couple in it describe feeling like they can't stop, even when they can both see it happening. And isn't just psychological, it show up in the body. In one study measuring cortisol during martial conflict discussion, couples with an anxious partner and an avoidant partner showed a sharp stress hormone spike just from anticipating the conversation. Before either person said a word, here are the part that reframes everything. Avoidant partners are not lying when they say I am fine mid conflict, researching on interoception. The ability to sense your own body internal signals shows avoidant attachment is linked to reduced activity in the brain region that sense your own stress. Their heart rate and cortisol can be spiking while their conscious mind genuinely doesn't register it. It's not performance of calm, it's a nervous system that learned not to listen to itself. Meanwhile, anxious attachment does the opposite. It heightens sensitivity. Neuroimaging neuroimaging shows social rejection activates pain processing region in the brain more intensely in anxious attached people. For them, being ignored is not just uncomfortable, it can register somewhere close to physical pain. And it's not that anxious people are simply bad at reading people. Research on married and dating couple found highly anxious partners were actually more accurate at reading their partner's real thoughts and feelings, but only during threatening, high-stake conversation. It's not a general gift, it's a threat detector, and it only switches on when something feels like it's a risk. What is exactly why it can't relax even when nothing's wrong. None of this means your attachment style is fake or that is a life sentence. A few things are worth knowing here. First, attachment style is not even one fixed trait. Research using detailed relationship history interviews show people can be securely attached to a parent, anxious with a romantic partner, and avoidant with a close friend. Simultaneously, it's less a personality label and more a set of context specific script your nervous system runs with the different people. Second, and this is the part that actually matter if you are watching this recognizing yourself. Attachment researchers have a category called unsecured attachment. This describes people had genuinely difficult, insecure early environment but who know function with such secure pattern as adults. And it's not measured by what someone says about their childhood, it's measured by how they narrate it, what the story is coherent, whether it makes sense as a whole rather than being emotionally raw, contradictory, or blocked off. In other words, making sense of your past, not having had a perfect one, is what predicts security now. So, if you recognize your pattern in this video, here's what actually moves the needle based on what the research points to, not vague advice. If you lean anxious, the goal isn't to feel less, it's to build a pause between the feeling and reaction. Because your radar is accurate about threat, but it fires whether or not the threat is real. Learning to check the evidence before escalating in the entire skill. If you lean avoidant, the goal isn't to force intimacy you don't feel ready for. It's to practice noticing your body signals before you are in shutdown. Because by the time you consciously feel overwhelmed, your nervous system already checked out a while ago. And if you are in a relationship with the opposite pattern, understanding the mechanism changes the fight. It's not that one of you cares more, it's two different nervous systems running two different opposite survival strategies, both of which made complete sense at the time they were built. Your attachment style was never a character flaw, it was a strategy your nervous system built with the information it had as early as it had it. The point of learning this isn't to diagnose yourself or your partner or your ex, is to finally see the pattern clearly enough that you get to choose your next move instead of just reacting the way you always have. If you want the specific research behind any one piece of this, the trauma bond neurochemistry, the infidelity data, the empathic accuracy studies, I have got full breakdown in short link below. Subscribe if you want the rest of the series as it comes out. Thank you.